Hey everyone, Jesus here. I'd like to take a minute and talk to you about fake news. It's out there. We've all seen it. It can be a real downer. Trying to figure out what's real, what's fake, who's trying to fool you or take advantage of you. That's why I recommend Skeptalk Live, the only news source you can completely trust to be vaguely accurate and show you what's really happening in the world. It's like looking directly into the soul of humanity. So tune in on Twitch or YouTube to Skeptalk Live, the greatest talk show on earth. I'm Jesus fucking Christ. Don't argue with me. Just like the rest of religion, you are going to just have to take my word for it.
Right, you lot. You better be reading this. Alright? You bunch of bastards. Because this is about fair use, right? So don't you be nicking all my stuff, right? I've got permission to use every bloody thing that I'm saying on this bloody site through the fair use law in the United States. So get it up, you. Read it for yourself. I can't be arsed reading it out.
All right, everybody. Welcome to Skeptalk Live, episode number 100. That is a lot of episodes. we made it all the way to triple digits, which means we can start aiming for special numbers like 200.
What a special number.
Tonight, we will definitely be getting banned in China. That is definitely something that'll happen tonight. Again, so I actually have one episode that is banned in China because it features Winnie the Pooh in it. We'll be going for a second one, with something else.
I feel like you've talked about Winnie the Pooh a few times.
Right? Exactly.
Hey, does China have a problem? Is it because he doesn't wear pants?
It's because he looks like Xi Jinping.
Hey, Winnie the Pooh's been around for a while,
right? But so they started using Winnie the Pooh to start talking shit about their overlord, and he was all like, "I'm done with this," and so he just had him blanketly banned from all social media, and you can lose points on your citizenship score if they catch you posting some Winnie the Pooh.
Except would it be Winnie the Pooh after they banned the letter N?
You're right. They unbanned the letter N, but that was really funny. Did you guys hear about that?
No.
For a whole week, China banned the letter N from social media, and it was because of the fact that people were like, Xi Jinping will be the nth, emperor or whatever because he'll never stop. And then, yeah, his censorship brigade was all like, "Oh, okay, well, let's just ban N then," and that turned out miserable. Turns out it's a
problem
letter,
solved,
right? Turns out it's a letter that's used in some other things, including China. So everybody was
and also banned,
right? So in Chia, They banned the letter bad. I don't know. But joining me tonight, once again, we have Jacob and Ellis from The Big Breakfast. If you guys would like to check out their channel, here is a link to Big Breakfast where you can go.
We would love to see you guys.
And ask many questions, and they will give many answers. They also see some really cool gameplay of some really fun games. How was Monster Hunter today, guys?
Monster Hunter was great. Always, I mean, that was my favorite game from last year. Continues to be great. Tomorrow we're going to play Resident Evil 2.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Oh, awesome. Did they add a co-op in it, or is it still only single?
I think it's still only single player.
Okay. I would love to run around as Claire and Leon.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
I just want to be Leon's gun.
Right? the safe one, right? Zombies don't want to eat guns. And also, we are joined tonight by WitlesWonder, who, just in case anybody else doesn't know, is also a streamer and has just joined this channel as the video editor. So, yeah, we should be getting our videos up on YouTube better than when I forget for weeks to do them. So, and I forgot the guest command first. So, if you would like to check out WitlesWonder's channel, there is the link to WitlesWonder on Twitch, and you can go throw a follow. And yeah, so I've got some cool stuff, guys. Not only is it episode 100, but it's also technically a new format. So last week, I had to cancel the Thursday episode, and it's because I spent 7.5 hours attempting to find funny on the internet. And like stories for the quality that we like to have here on the show. And all I was finding were just these depressing stories of like violence and just stuff that I'm like, all right, that's interesting. I might want to throw one of these in, but it won't be funny. So I've got a few notes here for everybody to check out for the channel. Throughout the show, remember, we'll take bits, we'll take donations, and it shows up on screen. It looks like a really cool, like, you did something cool. There's a breaking news story that pops up in front of us. But if you don't have any money to support the stream or don't want to support financially, there is this command I can send right here that will... Ooh, neat. Apparently, there's an update for Razer Synapse. Experience over 0. Thank you very much for that. You've also showed me that my platinum icon is above my stream elements, which I need to move down a little bit. All right. We got a new icon for the desk here, as we have recently joined the Platinum Squad streaming team. Pretty cool group of people, and I wanted to show everybody this. And you might have seen it at the beginning of the episode here. But there's that link I just put into the chat, which will formulate a tweet that'll tell everybody what you're doing right now, which is watching Skeptalk live. And maybe they'll come hang out in the chat. And the more people that are in the chat, the better it is. Also, we have our breaking news show is going to be on February 12th at 7 p.m., just like this tonight's episode, exact same time. And if you're in the area near me, you can get involved with this, and all you got to do is just hit me up, and February 12th at 7, we can all go to the destruction room together, and we'll break stuff, and I'll make you read dumb stories on the internet, and it'll be very funny. So, last time it was awesome. Breaking VHS tapes is therapeutic. I'll tell you what. They're only like 50 cents there, and you just get to smash as many as you want. Last Tuesday's episode, we had a competition. We had a Mega Florida Man stream where we did a giant episode of Florida Man, and we had a champion. It was Experience Over 0, Dr. Tom, and Tim in the competition, and Tim took the lead by 1 point over Experience Over 0 and 2 points over Dr. Tom. So Tim will be receiving a special edition of a T-shirt of the Eatin' Ass, Smoking Grass, Saving Gas T-shirt, the new millennial seal. That
is fantastic.
But so this shirt is going to be only for him. if anyone else is interested, we have this other version of the shirt on our merch store, where you can get the official Skeptalk Millennial Seal, smoking grass, saving gas, eating ass. So, this all came from one conversation on the show, and it just had to happen. So now it's a shirt. I said it wrong. I can say it however I want. It's a circle. You can just pick whichever direction.
Start anywhere.
Yeah. So the Let's Assume show, the wizard I had lined up backed out. But I think I may have a psychic, which I'm very excited about. I'll be talking to them as soon as I can, and we'll get this as soon as we can. I'm very excited to have this show because it's going to be a lot of fun conversations. And then the new schedule for the show on this channel going forward, we will have at 7 p.m. on Tuesdays, we will have Skeptalk Live, which will be the weekly news show, essentially. It'll go from twice a week to weekly. On Wednesdays, we will have our streamer interview show that we've been doing, which is always really fun. You get to meet some really cool people. And then on Thursdays, we will be doing our Weird History show. So on this Thursday, Dr. Tom and Tim will be joining me as we discuss John Paul Jones and the Emu Wars. Now, it's not at the same time. John Paul Jones is a Revolutionary War, American pirate whose epic deeds of badassery have gone largely unnoticed. And the Emu Wars are a war that Australia fought against emus and lost. So we'll be going through that amazing set of historical stories. But that will be at 9 p.m. We'll be doing it 2 hours later than we usually do. It'll be kind of a late night show. So Experience Over Zero says those animals are deadly as fuck. Australia took no casualties, but they definitely still lost the war. But with that said, let's get into some news, guys. You guys ready?
I'm so excited.
Excellent. All right. Descendant Kobo, welcome to the show. We've got our first story coming up here. The first story is one that I am calling Trapper Destiny. And I want you guys to listen to this ad that was posted on Facebook by the Kutztown Police Department. And let me know if this was a very good opportunity or someone was going to get in trouble. So the Kutztown Police Department is looking for volunteers to assist us in training officers to administer standardized sobriety tests during suspected DUI traffic stops. Volunteers must be available on April 4th between 2:30 and 7 p.m. Alcohol will be provided. However, you will not receive any compensation for your time. In order to be eligible, you must meet the below criteria. You must be in good health between the ages of 25 and 40. You must have a clean criminal history. You must be willing to drink excessive hard liquor to the point of excessiveness. And you must sign a waiver releasing the borough of Kutztown of any liability. You must also have a sober, responsible party to take care and control of you after the training. Interested individuals should contact Chief Craig Summers during the normal business hours. So,
that's a lot of hoops to jump through for one afternoon.
Right.
Of drinking.
Are you gonna end up with
That was
bruises?
legit. No.
Right?
That sounds reasonable.
What do you think, Witless? Would you end up? Would you take this job? Go drink excessively in front of cops?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you say Ellis?
No, I said Witless.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah, sorry.
Absolutely.
Right.
I would totally be willing to get drunk with cops. I mean, going to high school, my drama club often signed up to do mock disaster programs, and at one point in time, I had a taser pointed at me because my job was to annoy the police officers.
Oh, amazing.
So this is just another Tuesday at the office for me.
I am absolutely not on board with this. I would not want to hang out with cops for an entire afternoon, especially if I was way too drunk. That's a recipe for disaster.
I feel like
You're afraid you're going to say some shit?
I feel somebody's coming out of this with some road rash on the elbows, man. Like,
yeah, that's gonna be a real problem,
right? Experience Over Zero says, I would be down for this. Free booze and get to have fun with cops. I would need a photographer. Hooten Edge says, somebody get this guy a bigger desk. My desk is okay. I like my desk. It's good.
I like your desk. I think it's a perfectly sized desk.
See, I wouldn't want a photographer. I would want a video film so I could live stream me getting drunk in front of the cops.
And then they wouldn't throw you down and give you road burn.
Exactly. I have witnesses for police brutality.
Right?
They might still.
Right.
Oh, they still probably will. Like, I acknowledge that going into it, but I also acknowledge I'm white, therefore slightly less problem.
Everybody out there on Facebook land, watch what happens when you get super drunk. What's bam? Like, Chad is now talking about it's not the size of the desk, but what's in it, what behind it that matters, and there's a lot behind this desk. It's a desk that comes in large. I'm just an extra large, so it's all right. Now this next story, I was hesitant, and I think I'm going to change a word in it, but you guys will get it. And you may have heard about it because it made the rounds pretty quickly. Hootie Edge, thank you very much for that. Or Hootie in Edge, Hoodin Edge. Hooden Edge. There we go. Hooden Edge 1. Thank you very much for that follow. I appreciate it. Somehow that one... Oh, I see what I did here. All right. So, a 33-year-old Irish man was filling a syringe with his own produce.
Oh, man.
And
like
then,
his cabbages?
Well, I'd have to say... his own male milk. So, and then he was injecting it into his veins and muscles in his right arm in hopes of relieving chronic back pain.
This guy is definitely a doctor, right? He's an actual medical doctor.
No, not at all.
Has to be.
Physicians who came across this unusual case when its subject admitted himself into a Dublin hospital following several days of lower back pain brought up by lifting heavy objects. They followed with an examination. Medical staff discovered that his right arm was red and slightly swollen, with signs of a fairly serious subcutaneous infection. An X-ray revealed signs of abscesses deep under the skin. So those abscesses are filled with milk. Man milk.
He wasn't even like getting them injected into his back where the source of the pain is. He was like, no, the circulatory system will take care of this.
Exactly.
It'll put this tincture exactly where it needs to go.
Exactly. This elixir. So the patient disclosed that it was most likely caused by his recent injections of his own semen. Apparently, back pain was an ongoing problem for the gentleman, and he'd come up with a rather innovative plan to introduce or treat it by introducing his own ejaculate intravenously and intramuscularly.
The doctor was like, "Yeah, that's probably it, man."
Exactly.
I'm waiting to hear what freaking Penthouse magazine off-brand he was reading that told him this would be okay.
Right? For the previous year and a half, he'd been giving himself a monthly shot of his own self-made tonic. In the wake of a recent bout of back pain, he'd even upped his dose to several injections. The case study is outlined in an Irish medical journal article playfully titled "Seemingly Harmless Back Pain." An unusual presentation of subcutaneous abscesses. Its author dug into the literature, both clinically and alternative, but for some kind of explanation, but came up completely empty-handed. A comprehensive review of Embase, PubMed, Google Scholar, and the wider internet, conducted with an emphasis on intravenous semen injection for the treatment of back pain, as well as for other medical and non-medical uses, came up with nothing. They were unable to find any reason why this guy would think that this is the answer.
Okay, so let me get this straight. He started it, realized this isn't working, and thought, my arm's hurting more, so the solution is to do it more.
Right.
Did he see any results in the year and a half? Because I assumed that this happened very quick.
Right.
What?
So, currently, the guy, the patient, was diagnosed with cellulitis, a bacterial infection of the skin, and the doctors gave him intravenous antimicrobial drugs. Fuck, I am having a rough day with my mouth, and I do not know why, but I'll figure it out.
Boy, have I got the cure for you.
Right? No thanks. But after he received the intravenous antimicrobial drugs, his back decided that he was done. He started to feel better. But as of this time, due to the report and the fact that the guy wanted to remain anonymous, doctor-patient confidentiality issues, things like that, they have not been able to interview him to find out why.
Remaining anonymous, smartest thing this guy's ever done in his life.
Right.
Also, this dude is beefy. He's like a farmer or something like that. He's got really, really big biceps.
I didn't know that was like his actual arm. I thought that was just...
Yeah, this is an x-ray from the case. That's the abscesses in his arm.
I don't know. Is he beefy, or are they just, full of jizz?
Well, that's very possible. He might just be like, it's like how Foster Farms chickens are so plump, right? Like,
hang on a second, is that what they're doing to those chickens?
You got to find something to do with the roosters, right? Like,
please, new story. Please,
all right.
New story.
I'm just wondering how many guys after that were just like in the supermarket with like some random, completely unrelated rash on their arms that someone's just like, "Hey, are you that guy?"
The hunt continues to find the man. All right, so the stream here, we got a lot of what the fucks. Some people saying that this was a chia remedy. Excellent. Horrible infections and swollen or beefy. I'll never tell. Right. Excellent, squid bone. All right, our next story. Have you guys ever had a Kinder Surprise egg?
Yeah. We got mailed one, but it was destroyed in the mail.
Oh, bummer. Did you get it during their anniversary, their 50-year anniversary?
I don't know. It was a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Because
probably not.
They're getting under fire right now for their new 50-year anniversary. So the chocolate treat for children has sparked outrage amongst parents with one mother saying that she felt sickened after her son got a surprise gift. Kinder Surprise, with its iconic hidden toy, has been a popular candy for children for decades, but Ferrero, the Italian company behind the sweet, seemed to have made a massive mistake in a batch of limited edition toys that was released to celebrate the 50 years of Kinder. I have a picture of the toy, and I want you guys to see if you can think. What is wrong with this picture?
Oh no!
Is today's theme man milk?
No, I get that, but it's the KKK across the top. That is
that seems like maybe a mistake,
right?
Whoops!
Kimberly,
they didn't think that one out.
Right? An Australian mother bought the candy for her 15-month-old son and was shocked to discover it contained a white Kinder Egg figure holding 3 balloons bearing the letters KKK. Kimberly said she felt sick, though, as she thought of her son playing with the toy and thought it was subliminal marketing. It is a massive oversight that anyone could have seen, she told parenting website KidSpot. It's also hard to find something to say the initials of Kinder Surprise aren't KKK. It raises questions as to the company supports if this is subliminal marketing, which I don't believe it is.
No, this is a dumb mistake that somebody made.
Right.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
this
absolutely.
is a moron who didn't, look at the product and think, is this a good idea?
I'm
It
thinking...
got designed piecemeal, right? Like the balloons were painted individually, and they're like, yeah, just slap it on all of them, make them all.
Right?
Yeah.
He's holding 3 Kinder eggs. 3 Kinder, balloons. And yeah, just as Squidpunk said, it is an Italian company. So the Italian people may not have a KKK association to
No, probably not.
right. But if they're gonna ship it other places, you should look into it.
Look into it.
Right, exactly. It's not that expensive to just put a brand manager somewhere and be like, your job is to make sure we don't mess up spectacularly.
Just hire a guy from the culture, just an average person, right? That you're gonna ship these to, and be like, hey, is this cool? Is there anything weird about this?
Just
Right.
an international focus group.
Oh, you know
Like,
what?
hey, what do you guys think of this?
That's not a bad idea for a company. You just create a company that's like, we help you not fuck up.
Yeah.
You can reasonably send us a picture of something you're about to release, and we'll tell you whether or not. I think you should probably put one less K there.
Or
Just
arrange
spell
the
egg,
balloons
right?
in a very different way, to where it's not just a very clear display of KKK. Like, if all the 3 Ks were facing different directions, I feel that would be infinitely better.
Right? Or spelling out egg, or KSE for Kinder Surprise Egg. But, lots of different options that could go there, and our company could provide this to you. All right. First fireside chat of the night, guys. We'll start with Ellis. Ellis, what was your favorite toy growing up?
That's a tough one. Probably Legos, just across the board. I had a lot of fun playing with Legos. I enjoyed. Also, I've noticed that now modern Legos seem to be all kits. It's hard to just get a box of Legos that you can kind of play with and do whatever you want with. And all the kits are so linear that it feels like it limits my creativity.
Right? Exactly.
Back in my day, I don't know. I miss the glory days of Legos. They're also wildly expensive now. And I'll admit that when I was 6 years old, I wasn't paying for my own Legos, but I can't imagine that they were this pricey.
Oh yeah, no, I wouldn't have had nearly as many Legos as I did growing up. My parents were not into spending money on toys. How about you, Jacob? What was your favorite toy growing up?
I had a Ninja Turtle action figure that had a pizza box thing on the front of his chest. You put little plastic discs in there, and he shot them out of the front of his of the thing, and I used it to shoot all of my other action figures because they were lame in comparison.
Awesome.
You know, like you do. You shoot pizzas? Is that what it's supposed to?
Yeah, he shoots pizzas. Yeah, they were little disc pizzas, and they shot out of the front.
Excellent.
I remember
That's
that
the whole thing.
episode.
How about you, Willis? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no, that's it.
No, Willis, what do you think? Did you have a favorite toy when growing up?
Hot Wheel cars. We had a ton of them, and I'm pretty sure we still do somewhere in storage. And I would just do so many demolition derbies with them.
Excellent. Squidpunk says Armtron, which was a remote-controlled robot arm. Excellent.
Just the arm?
Like, did it have wheels on it, or
Did you just hold it out?
Wait, was it had the black claw, and it was just like all it could do was go left, right, up, and down? Like, I think I totally remember that thing. I was jealous of it. All my buddies.
or
had
was it
one.
just like a grabber? You know, one of those.
the dinosaur head on a stick?
Yeah, exactly. Remote control.
My favorite toy when growing up, and I specifically remember exactly which one it was, but G.I. Joes were my jam. I played with a lot of G.I. Joes, but there was one which was like he was the co-pilot to he was like an unnamed Cobra soldier, but he was like the co-pilot to one of the jets, and like the jet had like a named pilot, and I didn't like him because he had a mustache, and it's because when I was a kid I didn't like mustaches for some reason, and but then the co-pilot was completely generic and had like a face mask that you couldn't open or anything like that. I was like, that's my favorite G.I. Joe, and he was the one that won every battle because
He's mysterious.
exactly, he was my favorite. Bobo Kangaroo, welcome. All right, this next story, I had to double, triple check this one. This was definitely one that I was like, oh, this is probably fake news, but then I was able to verify it and see the video on it, which we can't show because it's too violent for Twitch.
Uh-oh.
A Russian man has popped the question to his girlfriend in court while she was being tried for stabbing him 13 times. Now, the video that I saw shows like the like after pictures of like him when he got like taken to the hospital and stuff, and it was like he falls under Twitch's gore stuff, right? But
Sure.
yeah.
They were stabs of love, right?
Exactly.
What? Okay. Stabbed with what?
Well, according to
Was it a knife? Was it a syringe full of elixir?
Elixir?
the old Foster Farms pump. The man named Shakur was nearly murdered after his girlfriend stabbed him multiple times in a frantic knife attack. Shakur was eventually able to get away and needed 3 weeks to recover from 13 stab wounds all over his body. The woman, who was not identified, pleaded guilty to the incident, but said she was drunk at the time and she did not intend to kill her boyfriend. Facing 6
I
years...
thought he was Tupac Shakur.
Right? It's just too much. And I'm a Biggie fan, so I had to go for it.
I had to step up.
Exactly.
It was the only option.
The woman, who was not identified, pleaded guilty to the incident. Oh, I'm sorry, I already did that one. She faced 6 years in prison, but according to a report, the man proposed to her and begged the judge not to send her to jail. The judge has reportedly postponed a decision on sentencing until a future hearing.
No. First of all, 6 years
on red flag.
I was just going to say.
No one else is saying it, so I will Stockholm.
Right.
I feel this is at least adjacent to that.
Right.
6 years doesn't seem like enough in the first place. We
Right.
can't then also postpone it.
Yeah,
I don't think that there's any bigger red flag than 13 stab wounds.
I mean, 14 stab wounds, but that's not that much, right? At that point, this is the biggest red flag we can get.
There's diminishing returns on the increasing of the size of the
red
flag.
Blood. With your blood.
Right. Experience over 0 says, I've never had that sex good enough that I would ever get a person's name tattooed on me or get stabbed and still want it. And Squid says, I love her. I should have put the toilet seat down. And then Destiny Coma says that a buddy of his stabbed a guy 17 times and only got 2 years. Former buddy.
Former buddy.
Former buddy.
You had to have the quality.
Were you the guy? We're not buddies anymore.
Oh. I just had a dark thought. What if he just did it in the hopes that she wouldn't go to prison so he could get revenge?
I mean, maybe.
He's all like, I got
That's a long shot?
Right.
They say marriage is the best revenge.
It is Russia.
Right? They say that.
I feel like that's a long shot, but I guess the judge did postpone the decision, so maybe not as long as it should be.
Right. Well, and it is Russia, so it's very possible. Like, I mean, it adds like 10% to the probability of anything, so. It's just that one little check modifier. Wait, it's in Russia, so now it's plausible.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys were on the last episode that we talked about this, but were you guys there when we talked about Fokien?
No.
So,
no.
Little small town called Kien had a new Vietnamese restaurant coming in, and they were going to call themselves Fokien Great. And that's fantastic in and of itself. Also, their city manager, this is in Keene, New Hampshire. Their city manager is named Elizabeth Dragon. And she had originally said, not in my town, we're not going to have Fokien Great. But after it hit the internet, Keene, New Hampshire has since rescinded their ban on the name, and Fokien Great will be opening up its doors next week.
I want to go.
I want to go.
I think it's literally pronounced "fuck."
Yeah, that word is pho.
Right.
So it's fucking great.
Fucking great. Yep.
I love it. I would eat there all the time.
Exactly. And I know we're not all that big, but I like to think we're part of the reason that we fucking did it. So.
Wow.
But that's good.
Also, Elizabeth Dragon. Right. Come on.
I mean, that's almost.
You got to be cooler than that.
As Drake Dragonfire. We had a character on last episode. This guy. It was a Florida man story where he was dealing drugs to some guys, and then they hit him with his car. And then he got up and started firing into the car. That wasn't the worst part. His name was like, oh yeah, Drake Dragonfire Shingledecker. Like, is his name? So of course,
wow,
yeah, I of course replaced every instance of where they said Shingledecker with Drake Dragonfire Shingledecker, so that as I was reading it out to everybody, Experience Over Zero in the chat was on that episode. He couldn't make it. He couldn't make it to the end of that story. But all right. Everybody prepare to get banned in China because Peppa Pig.
Winnie the Pooh and Peppa Pig?
Yeah. So Peppa Pig is the newest thing to be completely blanket banned from China's social media and internet. So like if you're on like the Chinese like search engines and stuff, you just cannot search for Peppa Pig. And it's because of the fact that Peppa Pig has become a new meme there, and apparently it's subversive.
Like all memes.
Right. So, I mean, you may not know much about, Chinese culture or, there's any of the subversive stuff that they've got going on there. Can you guys take a swing, and we'll start with Jacob about what this meme says?
Oh, what it says?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just a blind guess, maybe. It'll be
I
wrong.
hope I want it to be something that they banned it because they straight up don't understand what it is, and I really hope that just says bottom text.
Excellent.
And that's it.
That was my guess.
Witless, what do you think?
I honestly don't know.
To be fair, it won't be whatever it is you guess.
I've kind of figured that. I'm thinking it has, like, I'm not sure what exactly it could be, like, short enough to fit in there, but I'm guessing this has something to do, like, making fun of China's single child laws or something like that, just because of the baby carriage.
It's a good joke.
Maybe it says Gargamel did 9/11.
Just going for the straight meme, like the shitpost, right? So this says, too handsome to fall asleep. This is on the list.
No, I like this meme. This is a good meme.
This is on the list of subversive memes banned from China. I've got a couple more. So this one here is okay. Witless, you want to take a guess on this one? Did you freeze? Are you okay?
I'm
Okay.
trying to think,
It's okay.
but I'm also heavily medicated and I started drinking.
No,
So
excellent.
Hey, Canada.
Canada,
thinking's not.
While Witless is thinking about this, can I talk about how much of a phallus this pig's head looks like?
Yeah, dude. Peppa Pig looks like a straight up dongle.
What are they doing?
I'm wondering,
Making this cartoon.
is that what the subversive nature is? Like, is that the whole thing?
Oh, maybe that's the joke. Too
Right.
handsome to fall asleep. Like my Johnson.
So, I mean, this one says, I'm fine, I'm not unhappy. Which, I kind of get the subversive nature of that one if you're, in an oppressive dictatorship in China, and you're just all like, I'm fine, don't worry about me. Just sitting here being a citizen. Like,
Yeah, that one I get.
right? And then this one says, who is not a little princess? But, so this is
I got no jokes on.
right. So this is just 3 of the random memes off of their list that I picked. A lot of them are that, like, when Peppa Pig gets posted, they just start posting a ton of Peppa Pig stuff, and like it just derails conversations, which is apparently subversive. But meanwhile, here in America, we have our own Peppa Pig memes. I don't know if you guys have seen this one.
I'm Peppa Pig. This is my little brother George. This is Mummy Pig. And this is Daddy Pig.
I think that's much more subversive.
Is there supposed to be sound to that video?
Oh, I didn't send you guys the sound.
Yeah,
I
unmuted the stream.
Out of context, that was a
Yeah,
It's just audio from
an
a
interesting thing to watch.
Right. I wasn't sending the sound. Okay, you guys should be able to hear it now. We're gonna watch it again.
okay. All right.
All right. It makes a lot more sense. Can you guys hear that now?
Yes.
I'm Peppa Pig. This is my little brother George. This is Mummy Pig. And this is Daddy Pig.
It's a bit better. It does look like I did freeze the cameras again, though. There we go. I fixed them. Excellent. All right. But yeah, so like that is a ridiculously highly upvoted like TikTok meme for Peppa Pig. and they've done a lot of those. But yeah, I actually think I need to advance this slide rather quickly. There we go. I just noticed that there was a kid shitting down a guy's back in one of the thumbnails there on YouTube.
Not okay.
Yeah, I don't think so. And,
can you even have that on YouTube?
I don't know. Apparently. But
it's just a prank. It's not real. It's
right. Exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
It was just a prank. But all right. Starting this time with Jacob. What meme would you ban if you were president?
Okay, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to ban, then I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
I'm banning lost references.
Okay.
And the reason is because I know people will still make them. They will just have to get way better at hiding them, and those are the best ones anyways. Is the ones that you don't even understand that that's what it is until the fourth time you looked at that picture.
And you're like, wait a minute, this is a lost reference. God damn
it. Yep, that's exactly it.
How about you, WitlesWonder? Do you have a meme that you would ban?
I don't think I do. I would honestly probably go the opposite route and just replace all of our president's heads on dollar bills with different memes.
The $100
and just like
Chungus?
assign different memes to different dollar amounts.
I like the $100 Chungus.
How about you, Ellis? Do you have a meme that would be excommunicata?
I think I would hold my veto because I know, the internet's going to come up with some shit that I want to just strike down as fast as possible. Most of the memes that I can think of, I don't need to ban because they're gone now, right? Uganda Knuckles, fuck that. Dicks out for Harambe was horrible.
I almost
Those are the ones that come to mind.
Harambe meme in today's episode. Just because it came across me.
It's a shame because that's a funny sentence.
Right.
Dicks out for Harambe sounds funny, and the internet just destroyed it for me.
Right. Experience Over Zero says that they would ban all communication in any form other than memes.
Oh.
Yeah. I could see some really fun business meetings. Or if you just look at this chart, and it's just Big Chungus, right? You can see we are on the upward. I would have to say I'm probably gonna ban and like Ellis mentioned, Uganda Knuckles, it's over. You can't bring it back. Because meme necromancy doesn't work. It's like bringing back the dead in Full Metal Alchemist. You just can't do it. All right.
I mean, they totally do it. It just fucks them up.
Right. Well, I mean, and that's the deal is you got to live with it after you've tried to bring it back. All right. On to some stories of the terrible near robotic future. So, Tokyo has just added to their police force an elite fleet of interceptor drones that chase down suspicious-looking drones with nets. Because they've had lots and lots of drone incidents. One of the... So these are becoming part of riot police there. They will control camera-equipped interceptor drones that chase after private drones that they feel may be spying on buildings, including the Japanese Prime Minister's office, and ensnare them in large nets before returning to the ground. Those controlling the force drone will first warn the suspicious drone's operator to cease the flight. So one, they'll go up there and they'll be all like, "Attention! You are operating in a restricted area." And then they'll pursue the drone and take them down. The police force's drone measure around about 1 meter in diameter, and the nets are 2 meters by 3 meters, suspended below the interceptor's body. In Japan, it's illegal to pilot drones over certain locations, including airports, roads, or 150 meters above the ground. Drones or unmanned aerial vehicles are among the technology's most conscientious creations. And recently, they had to deal with a drone that they intercepted that had trace amounts of nuclear material in it. So, yeah, like, people are not only is somebody able to shut down, like, all of Britain for, like, 2 days with a drone, they're also getting able to start making, like, dirty bomb
drone.
Right?
Being a cop in Tokyo sounds cool as hell.
Right?
Yeah. I have a new dream. I want to grow up to be a cop in Tokyo.
This is like 2 steps off of having your own spider drones for, like...
Yeah.
Sitting in the spider tank.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I was originally like going into this thinking like, wow, these people are way too paranoid. But once you pointed out there's dirty drones flying around, and it's like, okay,
Yeah,
this is a legit idea.
I hope they get
Holy
more
crap.
nets, right? Like,
I hope that's how they catch bank robbers in the future.
with nets.
They just swoop down and net them up.
Let's head towards the getaway.
Replace bicycle police with drone police.
It's kind of like what's that thing in the Metal Gear game where you would run up and you'd strap people with the thing, the balloon.
Oh, the Fulton.
Oh, the Fulton.
It's just a drone that does the same thing, comes down and latches on, and Squidpunk says, "Shadowrun, here we come." Right? Exactly. Like, these police are riggers. They're out adventuring with remote control robots. Speaking of interesting robots, you guys ever hear of Ford's tester robot that's hit the news a couple of times? The robot.
No, I remember the Russian robot. The robot?
Yes. So about 8 months ago here on Skeptalk Live, we covered a story called that was introducing the robot, and this is Ford's new automated seat testing system that has a smart robot, an AI that reacts to how sitting in seats. So it like sits up and down in this seat with a giant robot butt, right? And it like tests to see if is it comfortable? Does it wear down? Do you eventually get spring tension after 1,000 sits or something like that? They have just made an upgrade to the robot. It sweats
Implants. It sweats. It sweats.
That is fantastic.
What does it sweat?
Well, they use water, but it can the cushioning is now heated to 36 degrees Celsius, and half a liter of water is now fed through the fabric. So yeah,
That's
now
a lot of butt sweat.
exactly.
Man, I got a sweaty butt, so I get it. I understand where this robot's coming from.
Exactly. This is the Swamp Ass Simulator 2019.
You know, this is the second robotic butt that I've read about in the news.
Excellent.
The first one was used to test smartphone durability. They
That
put it
makes
in the
sense.
back pocket of a robo butt, and then they just like have it pushed down on various surfaces.
Huh.
Squidpunk says, "Gotta test whether or not your mud butt is gonna make the seat smell."
So that was my next thing is the next upgrade is they're going to make the robot fart,
Right?
right? They
Exactly.
gotta see how much the cushions hold the fart smell.
Yep.
The sweat test is to ensure that the seat stays free of surface damage over time, claims Ford in their blog.
In their butt block.
Right. But yeah, no, the robot has its own page on Ford's social media. So I'm very excited about the fact that I get to say robot at least 5 times seriously today. So
So, are they also going to make the Robot Junior, which is a baby, to test how well you can wash out accidents
you know,
from a car seat?
The reason they designed this is so that, you know, this is specifically a replacement for humans, because, you know, you would have to have a human sit in a seat, you know, 10,000 times a day in order to get the data you get out of the robot. But our next story talks about how that can go terribly wrong. Replacing humans.
Oh, God.
Have you guys ever seen Gordon Ramsay's Hotel Hell?
Yeah.
No, I have not,
Okay.
but I feel like I can imagine.
It's the same as all of his other shows where he goes to like a failing kitchen and then, you know, whips them into shape and tries to, you know,
Yells at them.
yeah, exactly.
Yells at them because they should know what the fuck they're doing by now.
Right. If he were to go to this hotel we're about to talk about, it would be the greatest thing ever put on television. So at Japan's Henna-ha Strange Hotel, they have laid off 243 of their robots. That's half of their robot staff.
That's a
Were
lot.
they trying to unionize?
Well, apparently, the robots are causing a lot more work for humans because they decided that they were going to go full robot far too early. So one of the layoffs includes a doll-shaped assistant that is in each hotel room called Churi, which is like Siri, Google Assistant, and Alexa, and answers questions about local businesses opening and closing times. Unlike Siri, Google, and Alexa, it can't answer those questions.
Good.
It's
Bad. It's useless.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like a digital assistant, but apparently it just sucks at it. When hotel guests would ask, what time does the theme park open? It just didn't have good answers. And that was a problem because Churi was supposed to help ameliorate the strange hotel's staff shortage by substituting for human workers.
Damn, son.
XG Blarg with 14 months. Thank you very much for 14 months of support. I appreciate that. XG Blarg says, what's good, my ninjas? Spout out to Big Breakfast Podcast. 14 months already, that's it. Yeah, I mean, we're only at episode 100. We're working it. But okay. So, also on the chopping block, there were, and this is something, a phrase I never thought I'd get to say. 2 Velociraptor robots that were positioned at check-in.
You know, where you put your Velociraptor.
Right.
That's why he's got the hat.
Exactly.
Please tell me they were supposed to carry their bags.
No,
Because I would pay to go to a hotel where a Velociraptor robot carried my bags to my room.
No, the Velociraptor robots were essentially supposed to be check-in robots. Like, you checked into the hotel with the Velociraptors. The bag-carrying robots have also been let go, but we'll get to that in a second. They were decommissioned because human workers essentially had to do their jobs for them because they were unable to photocopy passports manually.
Well, yeah, because they got those big old claws. It makes it real hard to press the buttons on the machine.
Squidbug says Velociraptionist. Exactly. The 2 robot luggage carriers were only able to reach 24 of the 100 rooms in the hotel, and would fail if it rained or snowed.
Regular robot problems.
Exactly. They also often got stuck attempting to pass each other in the halls. The hotel's main concierge robot also didn't know how to answer questions about flight schedules and nearby tourist attractions, and has been replaced by a human. Many of the robots that have been retired were in service for years, making them very outdated, and the hotel decided it was easier to fire them than to replace them, citing high replacement costs. In the end, a lot of work has had to be left to be humans anyway, especially when it comes to asking complex questions. This is just kind of showing that we are just still off from going full robot. So
that's got to be a really awkward break room now that it's like half human, half robot. The robots are all like giving them the stink eye because they're like, man, you replaced my friend. I liked that. I liked Larry the Velociraptor. He was my friend. He had a family.
Right. I want to know.
Put it out on his ass.
What did they do with that Velociraptor robot? And can I have it?
Right?
I mean, often when these things go, they do auction them off.
Could you guys imagine if this show just had a Velociraptor here with me? And
it would fit right in.
Just ask it questions and see what it spits back at you.
Exactly. What do you think about this story? Error. Squidpunk asks if they made the Raptors train their replacements.
Something.
It's just a human who also can't photocopy passports now. Like, I don't. The guy didn't tell me how to do it. I'm sorry. I don't know.
So
I don't want to say it. I feel like I'm not being properly managed.
Right. I have an Alexa. Shush. That works, by the way. I have one, and I could put it in a giant Velociraptor head. So we could do that.
Yeah. Did you see the video of the person who built it
into
the singing fish, Billy the Big Mouth Bass?
I did.
They put their Alexa in it?
Yeah.
Just do that with a Velociraptor head.
We need Robert the Raptor. Excellent. All right. Sven the Norwegian guy is asking if we can fornicate with the robot, and I'd assume it is Japan. So,
yes, you can most likely fornicate. There's probably like an octopus robot in the rooms they didn't mention in the article.
They were
that exact reason.
They kept those in a hotel. Right. They worked just fine.
Exactly. All right. I think we start with Witless this time. Witless, can you name one job that a robot should not do?
Handle customer complaints.
I think that they might stonewall that the best. I'm sorry.
I mean, you're not wrong. Believe me, I really wish we had a robot to handle that. But I do not think we have any robots who are capable of processing the information that gets thrown from complaining customers. I can barely process what half these dumb fucks yell at me over the phone.
Robot versus can I speak to your manager? All right, Ellis, can you think of a position that should not be filled by a robot? And chat, feel free to weigh
clearly, in. Photocopying a passport is not really in their wheelhouse.
I think that they.
But I'm going to say babysitter.
Babysitter.
Babysitter is a pretty good option.
Don't have a robot babysitter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Engaging comfort.exe. How about you, Jacob? Can you think of a robot job that should not be?
We absolutely should not have robot cops.
No robot.
I've seen the documentaries. I know what happens.
Oh, God, no.
We covered a long time ago a robot security guard. It looked like a Dalek, right? Like, hands down.
Yeah.
And the people used to, push it over and, cover it in barbecue sauce and stuff because it was picking on homeless people. Like,
Was this in America? That seems like a uniquely American thing to happen.
It was a California tech company, and the company itself were the ones who were producing these robots, and so they had one patrolling their block, right? And the only thing it would do is just harass the hell out of homeless people. Like, somebody would be sitting there, and it would yell about loitering, and it would just scoot at them and like set off alarms and beep and call the cops over and over and over again. Like, so like kids passing by, kids passing by would like dump barbecue sauce from their like McDonald's meal
Kids
on them.
passing by with barbecue sauce?
Yeah.
They were just at the McDonald's.
Okay, got it.
McDonald's will give you a lot of barbecue sauce before they start asking questions.
Squidpunk says, apparently guest services. Sven says, name one. Blowjobs is not something that should be done with robots. I've seen some tech. We'll just leave it at that. We covered it before, actually. There's 200,000 people in the U.S. who have a robot blowjob machine, and that is all it's for, and they're beta testing it, and I don't know who they are.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, wait, how do you have these numbers? Are you the one providing this? Are you in charge of keeping track of all of them?
I'm the one in charge of finding out where these things are. Time to put on my tinfoil hat. Let's see. Sven says with sharp teeth. Distended says Mr. Handy was your babysitter in the beginning of Fallout 4. That is very true. XG Blarg says robots would be terrible at high fives. They would always be trying to high five and act cool, which would be weak sauce. Sven says that they would be cringe bots. National Security Director would be a bad place for a robot. Destroy all humans. And then let's see. Oh, Sven was thinking about the raptor and all of those things above. Okay, that makes more sense. I think that robots should probably not do like counseling. I think that's probably something that needs to remain human. Otherwise, the diagnoses are going to go a little wonky. All right. So, how familiar are you guys with 4chan and their exploits?
Not for a long time. I'm out that particular game.
Not very, but at the same time, far too much.
Right. Have you guys... Okay, so specifically, did you guys ever hear about when they were picking on Shia LaBeouf? And they were trying to find his flag?
Yes,
yeah.
I do remember this.
And do you guys remember when 9gag made a giant stone sculpture with really bad memes on it and then buried it in the earth for future generations to find?
I haven't heard of that.
Well, they got a giant...
That's a weird thing to do.
Yeah, they got their community together and they made a giant limestone sculpture with a bunch of really bad memes on it and then buried it for the future to find. Once 4chan found out about it, they searched the planet to find it and found it. And now we know where it is. But I think, and I haven't like gone to 4chan to spread this, but I know that they'll find out that this exists. I am putting my wager forward, my wager of absolutely nothing, just internet points, that this is the next target. So, this is in the Namib Desert in South Africa. An artist has created a sound installation inside of the Namib Desert, which is 31,300 square miles. Rather large area, right? It's somewhere out there, and he's not telling anybody where it is. But this is a bunch of speakers and an MP3 player and a bunch of solar panels that are all hooked up, playing a song for all of eternity. Just one song.
Is that the Barney song?
No. It is. I mean, you got the Namib Desert on the continent of Africa is now constantly playing Toto's Africa over and over and over. And
it's the only logical choice,
right? I think that this is going to be the next thing that they find, and it will be replaced with something amazing or awful, right? Like, depending on who gets to it. Like, it could be just they could put Hitler's speeches on it, like repeating, which would be definitely a troll. But I mean, they could also replace it with the Lazy Town Cake song or something like that. It would be either way. It would be good.
It's hard to find in Africa,
right? But yeah, so it's utilizing 6 speakers, an MP3 player. Whoops, I messed that. How did I go that far? There we go. What is going on? It's just moving stuff. Sorry about that, guys.
That's what I want to know in the next image.
On this weird blood bag.
Oh yeah, it's coming.
We can't talk about the Africa speakers anymore. I need to know what's going on in that bag.
Okay, we can do that. All right.
Okay, they can just play Bohemian Rhapsody. I'll get like 5 playthroughs before the world burns in the sun.
That's a good point.
Let's go on to what the hell is wrong with this blood.
Maybe it's not blood. Could be pudding in there.
Oh, it's blood.
Then there's definitely something very wrong with it.
So Jesse Karmazin has started up a new business, which is so he's a Stanford Medical School graduate, and he's done some research, and now he's starting a new startup in 5 cities where they will allow you to pay them to put younger people's blood in your body.
Okay, hold on.
Towards
to what end?
Purpose?
Will this cure my back pain?
Well, there was some
we have other
research
fluids
done,
for that,
right? So, although
I thought you were gonna say they invented an artificial blood or something, but
nope.
like
this is like
we don't talk about cool good stuff here. That's not what this show is.
Squidpunk says, "I've seen this movie. It does not end well." Like this, yeah. This is some fucking sci-fi movie level shit where you can. One, that means that they have just created a new industry for all of the people who are like, you know, are you guys familiar with selling plasma? How you can like go sell plasma to research industries? You can now go sell blood to premium blood banks.
I've seen it too.
Do they pay more?
Well, they charge $8,000 for a pint. So I'm assuming that they'll pay more.
Did they just pick a number?
I'm
do you
assuming,
think?
yeah.
Or did they do research and figure out how much blood is worth?
Right.
It's not that much.
Yeah, exactly. 1 liter of young blood, which is a creepy word to say, is $8,000, or you can get a special if you order 2 liters at once for $12,000. XG Blarg says, or donate blood to help save lives, you fucking savages. Right? Exactly. Squidpunk says, hey, millennials, you want to pay those student loans?
So I have a question.
Lives won't pay my student loans.
I have a question about blood and how blood works. And maybe I'm going to sound like an idiot here. If I get 2 liters of blood put into my body, is there room for it? Does my body like make room for 2 more liters? Do they have to take 2 liters out as well?
Yeah, I think they've got to manage your blood pressure, right? Like at that point. So you'd have to get
I'd say they probably have a kind of like weird dialysis type setup for it, would be my guess.
Well, they never said that they were like injecting it into your body, right? They just said that they're putting it into you in some way. Maybe you're vaping.
Yeah, you just drink it. You just shotgun it like a beer.
Are we convenient bite pouches? You're just like.
Oh, they're like gushers. It's gushers,
they're like
but
gushers.
It's all blood.
I was gonna say Capri Suns, but yeah.
Oh, Capri Sun's good too.
But in fall, who's the Karsmazin, who is not a licensed medical practitioner. He is a medical school graduate, but not a licensed medical practitioner.
Next question.
We'll be opening Ambrosia clinics in Los Angeles, San Francisco, Tampa, Florida, Omaha, Nebraska, and Houston, Texas. So
okay, there's some cities on that list that I am confused about.
Right?
Who in Nebraska's like, you know what? I'm gonna get me some of that young blood.
Right? I'm betting it's old oil barons and stuff. Right? Like,
I guess, yeah.
The dude who just owns all of the real estate in Nebraska. Like, he's the dude who's getting it. What's that? Who's that historical figure? She used to kill off. She used to kill off like young handmaidens.
Oh, Mary.
Mary, yeah. Used to bathe in all their blood and stuff. Yeah.
I don't know how true that is, but
rumored,
yeah,
right? That's the big story around it. It's rumored that that's what happened. And as of yet, there's no scientific evidence to suggest that this treatment helps anyone, according to Business Insider. But
because of course it doesn't.
Right?
There's scientific evidence proving it doesn't based on how biology works.
There was a study that was just released that said so some patients got young blood and others got older blood, and they were able to do some statistics work on it, and the results looked really awesome, Karsman told the Insider in 2017. There was roughly 150 people who received the treatment. And the people themselves described benefits including renewed focus, better memory, sleep, and improved appearance and muscle tone. So either that or this is an $8,000 placebo, you know?
Oh, it is. It 100% is.
Yeah.
I don't want my medical practitioner saying the results look pretty awesome.
Right.
I am shocked by how none of your medical training you applied to that sentence.
Some tech bro with his sunglasses on behind his head is just like, yo, dog, you're gonna look great.
Right.
Well,
after I put all this blood in you.
Right. Like, is this a secret vampire coven? Right? Like, they're just...
It doesn't sound that secret.
Right? I would be more okay with that, to be honest, because like right now it sounds like these idiots don't want to understand that the second though that blood gets processed by any of your organs, it's literally right back to the garbage blood you already had.
Wait, hang on. Why do these people got garbage blood?
With a younger model, you got to replace an actual organ, probably starting with your liver, kidneys, or, you know.
No, I'm with him here. People who are willing to pay $12,000 for 2 liters of kid blood are definitely garbage people through and through. Inside and out. From the core out. Just terrible people.
No, so they spend $8,000 to pump you full of fruit juice. And then the vampires have their choice of like aged blood or young blood at that point, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like wine, you know? Are you one of those bougie people who likes the really old wine, or do you want like the Yellowfoot, Barefoot, whatever the fuck
Are you trying to say that children's blood is like box wine?
It's like box wine.
Yes.
It's got a 3.
Honestly,
vintage.
You know what? If some tech bro was like, hey, I'm going to take out 2 liters of your blood and replace it with 2 liters of wine, I would be less weirded out by that.
Yeah. Like,
you're going to get so wasted, dude. And die.
Right.
But it'll be a hell of a ride.
I'm pretty sure a 25% blood alcohol level is going to kill you.
When I started...
it's real young alcohol.
Right. It's not all that fermented. When I started looking into this story, and immediately, like, my mind started thinking about this other startup. I actually have experienced the service of one of the other startups that I had covered before, but it was a group of actual trained medical staff that just didn't want to be EMTs anymore because the job slowly tears you down and makes you die inside every day. But instead, they decided that they were going to go around and deliver saline to people who are hungover for like $200. Which I had a buddy give me a saline bag when I was super hungover after a party one time, and it was awesome. Like it was instant cure. It felt so good. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. But then I looked into it, and then I immediately started thinking that this is a vampire conspiracy. So,
no, yeah, that honestly makes the most sense here.
Right?
Yeah, I'm more willing to believe that.
All right, let's check with the chat here real quick. Squidpunk says, "Fun fact: you need 30 virgins to fill a bathtub." Popo Kangaroo says, "We're laughing now, but when people start living into their hundreds, we will start to think differently." You know, if that's true, that's fine. I'll save up an extra $8,000. I'll have it sit around.
I don't think this is going to be the thing that does that, though.
Right. Speaking of injecting stuff into people, a man was dying from alcohol poisoning, but was saved after doctors in Vietnam pumped 15 cans worth of beer into his body.
They took it out of the cans.
Yeah. You just gotta put it in the storage container.
I'm not too familiar with needle gauges, but I don't want to know the number a needle gauge has to get for an entire can to go into your vein.
So the 12-ounce gauge. So a 48-year-old Nguyen Van Nhat, or Nahat, fell unconscious and was taken to a hospital in central Vietnamese province of Quang Tri on December 25th, where doctors found that the levels of methanol, a dangerous form of alcohol, in his body were more than 1,000 times over the recommended limit. So this guy was drinking pine cone liquor. Like, he was likely drinking homemade terrible alcohol that nobody thought to remove the beginnings of. When you make homemade alcohol, you need to I can't remember what the weird redneck word for it is, but it's like the first gallon or whatever is always the methanol that's on the top, and you just let that go. Like you just put it on the ground and don't put it. But if you don't, you can end up with a bunch of methanol, and that'll kill you. The doctors were able to save him by slowly... Oh, devil's cut. That's the word. Popo Kangaroo's got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. You give the devil's cut away. But so they administered immediately 3 cans of beer to him to cause his stomach to begin processing the ethanol, or his liver to start processing the ethanol instead of the methanol, because your liver...
Yeah, they bind together.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Your liver will process ethanol before it processes methanol, so then over the time that they were dialysing the methanol out of his body, they just kept feeding him more and more beer. And it took 15 cans of beer to be able to give them the time they needed to filter all of the methanol out of his body. So,
what is the most medicinal brand of beer, do you think?
Real quick correction though, XGC pointed out Devil's Cut is the alcohol that gets soaked into the barrel. The liquid stuff sitting on top that they remove, I think, is the Angel's Cut.
Okay. Fair enough.
Sure.
Either,
Sure, you know what? I gotta doubt that.
like,
All right.
Either that or like the amount that evaporates during fermentation is the Angel's Cut.
It could be Yogi Bear's cut.
Right, exactly. But no, that's awesome.
But with that also, alcohol is often used medicinally to help with people who drink antifreeze to attempt suicide. Antifreeze, paint thinner,
Ink.
and
Printer ink will do that.
printer ink toner. Yeah.
There was an episode of House about this.
My parents worked as paramedics, so.
Ah, gotcha. But yeah, beer saved a man's life, and apparently it's saved many man's life.
Yep, it saves LL Cool J's life in that episode of House.
Awesome. Yeah, the article actually does go on to talk about what Witless was saying that methanol is in lots of different substances because it's removed from drinking alcohol. XG Blarg just said LL Cool J played Terrence in that episode. Oh yeah. And Squid
What
says
brand of beer do hospitals stock?
Yeah, that's a
do
good
they have
question.
like a specific one, or do they have like this is not a brand of beer, it's just like the beer or whatever?
I would honestly guess that it's essentially Everclear and that it's just literally pure ethanol.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that would make more sense.
Because beer brand beer.
Brand beer.
Right.
Pure brand beer.
But I could see like there be not wanting to have beer even there because you're going to be treating some people who are all like, I need my beer right now. And then if they found out that there was beer, there's nothing you could do to stop them aside from tasers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking specifically of that situation, have you guys caught the YouTube original Wayne yet?
I haven't.
No.
I have not.
Watching all 11 episodes of Wayne has single-handedly Yuki Uzumaki-kun, thank you very much for that follow. Welcome to the Illuminati. But like watching all 11 episodes of Wayne has justified for me the entire year's YouTube Red for me. Like, I was super surprised. It is a violent, well-written, action-filled, curse word-laden series about a man who solves his problems through Conan the Barbarian-like means. And he's a 16-year-old boy from Jersey. It's super funny.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right.
It just the whole talking about alcoholics in a hospital made me think about it because there's very funny scenes with that. But all right,
I see.
Speaking of, Ellis, what is your favorite alcoholic beverage?
Oh, I'm a bad person to start with. I don't drink.
Oh, that's fine.
When I did, I like rum. Rum's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. I drink exactly 6 times a year. So I have specific occasions. Otherwise, it's not useful for me.
Okay.
What about you, Jacob? Do you have a favorite alcoholic beverage?
I like Old Rasputin beer. It's my favorite.
It's a good
one.
one.
It is a creamy Russian Imperial Stout. It is delicious.
Mm-hmm.
If you'll pay me $12,000, I will replace it with young Rasputin beer.
Only if you put it in my body via dialysis.
Popo Kangaroo says they only stock soft drinks, specifically Dr. Pepper. Currently drinking Captain Morgan's light rum, Coke Zero with lime juice. Wow. That seems interesting.
All right.
Witless, what about you? What's your favorite alcoholic beverage?
My favorite, when I have the money for it, is Long Island iced teas.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm broke as fuck, then I get Cold Spell mint whiskey and mix it with root beer.
Excellent. My favorite drink is it's an event. It's not just a drink. It's a whole event. And we start with a 5-gallon bucket. The drink itself is called Bucket. And you take a fifth of 151 rum and pour it in the bucket. Then you take
a wonderful start.
A half gallon of the cheapest vodka you can find and pour it in the bucket. The cheaper the better, because it adds a back end to the rest of these flavors. you take 2/5 of Malibu pineapple and pour it into the bucket. Then you take 4 large cans of pineapple juice and put it in the bucket. And then you crack Red Bulls until you can't fit any more into the bucket. And then you drink, you get a ladle and you drink it, and then everyone's pants evaporate.
Oh, you guys don't just hang out around the bucket with crazy straws?
Yeah, that's
that
what
would
I
be.
was
That's what I would do.
And you could have like an actual umbrella over the bucket.
Udo, I will bring a package of bendy straws to the next Afterworlds if you get the shit to mix a bucket.
I've had a couple of nights where I was, it's like 5 a.m. and I'm drunk enough that I'm just drinking out of the rest of the bucket. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's why you put it in a bucket, right? Easier to drink out of.
Right. Squidpunk says stupid sugary island drinks are Squidpunk's favorite, preferably in coconut. Yeah. Crazy
That's
straws
fair.
with one-way valves to eliminate backwash. That's a good point.
No. The backwash adds character.
Yeah, that's part of what makes it a bucket.
All right. Speaking of partying really hard, none of us will ever party as hard as this Russian man.
Ruin as many instruments.
Right? The problem is there's a spit valve in there. That's the thing that worries me the most, is that you're going to send that alcohol straight through that spit valve and you're going to clear it out. But I just searched for Russian party.
It's alcohol.
and
It'll
this was a
kill all the
picture that I got.
bacteria.
Well, it's fine. The bacteria can be all dead, but you're about to get a mouthful of Russian, man. Like...
I'm not gonna say it.
This is a Russian party trumpet. That trumpet's been in a butt. I don't care what. But
Would it be the first time? Won't be the last.
a man in Russia's Far East woke up in the morgue after having been declared dead. But before the incident, he had been doing vodka rounds with his friends at a party. After his miraculous awakening, he went back to the party. The man who was mistakenly taken for dead, who had passed out after drinking too much, local named Kiansky Vesti, was reported to... this story was reported on Wednesday. This is also translated from Russian, so the wording is a little weird. However, it's not clear when exactly the incident took place. Kiansky region is a coastal area in Russia's Far East, where it is home to 35,000 people scattered over 4,100 square kilometers. His friends called an ambulance, and a medical staff hastily declared the man dead before taking him to the morgue. However, the man eventually came to, only to find himself in a mortuary freezer. That night, the morgue was filled to capacity, and the bodies were not only on shelves, but also on the floor of the freezer room where our dead hero was located. A police spokesman mentioned the next part to the newspaper. At some point, the man woke up, failing to understand where he was. It was very dark and cold, and in addition, his brain was likely foggy due to the influence of alcohol. In the darkness, he probably felt someone's cold limbs and, in fear, rushed to find the locked door. He started screaming for help and pounding on the door. His calls then drew the attention of the morgue's guard, who reported the situation to doctors. The latter thought that the guard was
He was like, I'm not going to go check myself.
Right, exactly.
I've
God,
seen
this reminds
movies.
me of my freshman year.
I know how this starts.
Exactly. That is the beginning of the zombie outbreak, right? The doctor thought that the guard was imagining things, and according to the report, out of cautiousness, the doctors then called the police. The door was opened by police, and they were met by the resurrected man, who, in panic, ran out of the door, according to the Department of Criminal Investigations. Police were managed to calm him down, and then they eventually questioned him, and since he'd done nothing wrong and was in perfect health at this point, released him.
I think perfect is questionable.
Right.
I guess it's not illegal to die.
Exactly. He then returned to the party to find that his friends were indeed still drinking, but this time in commemoration of him. The person who opened the door to the party was so shocked that he fainted. Kiansky Vesti said.
Can you imagine getting so drunk at a guy's wake that you see him walk through the front door?
The commemoration ceremony was then quickly revamped into a re-birthday party.
Oh, it's a new birthday party.
Right?
Holy shit.
None of us
Fucking
will ever,
Russia, man.
right? None of us will ever party so hard that we die and come back to
Come back to life.
Everybody has to cancel their parties now. We're literally done partying. It's been done as good as it can be done. That's it. That's all the parties.
You got big plans for your birthday coming up? Boring.
Not good enough.
Might as well not do anything at all.
Squidpunk says the party kept going after someone died. It's Russia, right?
Yeah, it goes straight from party to funeral, then back to resurrection party. Right. These guys have a new Easter.
Right. Where you send everybody out into the yard to find the vodka shots.
Yeah, it's fine.
All right. So this story hit pretty hard today. I don't know if you guys saw this one.
I saw this one.
Yeah, it's real bad, but I definitely want to report it because this is the kind of weird shit that happens in the world. So, an overweight passenger aboard a Taiwanese airliner forced flight attendants to remove his pants so that he could use the toilet. Then, he also forced them to wipe his butt as he moaned in pleasure, according to reports. A flight attendant for EVA Air, which only employs female cabin crew, described the crappy duty to the perverted man that was subjected to her and two of her colleagues aboard the LA to Taipei flight on Saturday. The sicko, who was confined to a wheelchair, told the flight attendants that he needed assistance to use the lavatory about 2 hours into the flight. She said, "I felt that as a flight attendant, removing a passenger's underwear was beyond the scope of my responsibilities." She said from a...
Correct.
Right, from a news conference where she was accompanied by reps from Taiwan Flight Attendants Union. She said, "I told him we couldn't help him, but he started yelling. He told me to go in there immediately and threatened to relieve himself on the floor." As other... As the passenger's genitals were now exposed, one of my colleagues brought a blanket, which I used to cover his modesty. But he very angrily slapped my hand away, saying he didn't want it and only wanted me to remove his underwear so he could use the toilet. The man insisted that they keep the door open because otherwise he couldn't breathe. The woman then managed to keep the door closed, but the man, whose weight was around 440 pounds, then refused to leave the bathroom unless someone wiped his backside. The accused passenger, the flight attendants refused it first, but decided to carry out the disgusting task so that he wouldn't remain in the lavatory and block it for other passengers. But things took a turn for the worse when the chief attendant donned 3 pairs of latex gloves and began wiping him. He then said, "Oh, deeper, deeper," and then accused the chief attendant of not properly cleaning his backside, requesting that she do it again. Then he
should have elbowed him straight in the face.
Yeah. I mean, I feel that if I was on this flight, I probably would have just said, "I'll do it," and then had them go away and then been a real jerk about it. But but because this is really creepy.
No, fuck that, man. That's not okay.
Right?
Put him in jail.
Yeah.
That's literal sexual harassment.
Right. The only problem is he's headed to Taipei, where the laws are a lot more lenient. So
Put him in Taipei jail.
I can't believe that that's a bad place. I can't believe that they actually would have gone along with it. That really surprises me that they went that far.
Well, I mean, you got to think about the way that the culture works over there and service, and like if a customer's mad and your boss gets mad at you, you could get fired and then never hired again because every boss tells every boss things, and like you got to constantly think, yeah, unfortunately this was a Taiwanese plane and not a US plane. So okay. Yeah, on a US plane, they would have just let him shit himself on the floor. As we covered a couple of episodes ago.
Well, not only that, but on a U.S. plane, they'd also have male flight attendants and they would require that a male help him, not female.
Yeah, it's true. Very much true.
They'd probably require that the air marshal.
That's one of the bigger problems I'm seeing.
Air marshal's gonna come up and be like, "What's the disturbance here? Do I smell terrorism?"
Is that what terrorism smells like?
Yeah, I assume.
Yeah. I mean, oh, sorry. Is there more to the story?
No, I was just going to mention some of the stuff in chat. But go ahead.
Oh, I wanted to say, like, yeah, it sucks that he's on this Taiwanese plane and is probably not gonna be brought to a court in America, even though he should. He's now like famous on the internet for being just a gross creep. Yep. And you know how you go to like the post office or whatever, and there's like pictures up of like people like here's like a shitty, or like a convenience store of like here's the people who bounce checks. We all should know what this guy's face looks like, right, and just like give him a shitty look every time we see him. Exactly. Just as a society, this guy needs to understand.
Big old lunchbox, thank you very much for that subscription. Thank you very much. I appreciate the hell out of that. Supporting the Illuminati. Thank you much. But yeah, this guy's photo right here. You guys can see it. We should just make sure.
Put him on your gross creep wall.
Exactly. We should figure out if we can find a I don't know, like an internet wall of shame that definitely should exist, and just everybody should.
You mean Tumblr?
God damn. Oh fuck that! The way that slipped out with such ease, you got me. All right. This next story that I've got here, this is an example of absolutely shameful reporting, and I want you guys to listen to this story and tell me if you can see where this news report, and I researched super hard, no one asked the right question, where they messed up. So a man has been taken into custody in the Dane County Jail after accusing his wife of damaging his action figures. Then he took an axe to damage his own house, according to the Madison police chief. The call came in at 10:03 p.m. on the west side of Madison for a domestic disturbance between a 46-year-old woman and her 34-year-old husband. The husband called 911 on himself after using a log-splitting axe to destroy a TV stand, laptop computer, and several items in the house. He then went outside and smashed the family car, chopping off both side mirrors and struck the windshield so hard that the axe was then stuck. He then drank too much and overreacted, and he thought that he then said that he drank too much and overreacted because he thought his wife damaged some of his prized property. When officers arrived, they found the axe in the windshield of the car. The damages were estimated to be about $5,000. Officers then took the suspect into custody, arrested him for domestic-related charges of disorderly conduct and felony damage to property, and was taken to jail. And that's where the end of the story is. There's an important question that was not asked.
What were the action figures?
Exactly! Holy shit! I went through like 11 different versions of this story. I looked at there was one group that said that they reached out to the officers to find out what it was, and the officers didn't even know. Like They said we were unaware of what the property was, but so somewhere the investigation needed to be looked at, because there's a level where when these action figures, if they were damaged, this is all justified.
Yeah, no, like, have you seen what some action figures are freaking worth anymore?
Oh yeah, like
Like,
Not that that justifies this at all, but I'm really curious to know.
right.
like, they estimated what, $5,000 in damage? I reckon you could probably reach that with 2 or 3 of the right action figures.
Right.
That if
Squidpunk
she
just mentioned
damaged
Star
or,
Wars
like-
figurines. Like original Star Wars figurines, which can end up being worth tens of thousands each. Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
figured
no,
that
like
part,
that's
yeah. When he got arrested, he would have been all like, "My Star Wars figures," and then the cops would have been all like, just arrested the wife. And
like, after a certain point in time, it's no longer a man-child overprotective of his toys, and it's a case of, no, she literally destroyed a $10,000 item. I have rights to be pissed.
I think that if you react
Rights
to
to be
violence,
pissed,
you're
not
still a
rights to
man-child.
do that.
Yeah, exactly. If you're running around with an axe breaking stuff in your house, you're still man-childing pretty hard. But
Oh, yeah,
Yep.
no, like, that's still a terrible way to handle that anger, because you're just costing yourself more money. No, you divorce her, kick her out, and sue her for damage of properties. In other words, she goes to jail for the thing you're sitting in jail for now, you dumbass.
you hear that, Angry Cicada? Don't mess with my action figures.
I'm gonna touch all your action.
All right. I think we've got one last. Oh no, we've got a couple more stories. We're actually getting up there in time, so we may actually skip past one of the last things at the end today, because these stories are still really good. All right. So this is a would you rather, and I think we start with Witless this time. Witless, would you rather sleep wearing handcuffs or a bike helmet?
Well, one of those many people would pay for.
You're not supposed to sleep
That was my
during
main
Bike
that.
helmets are expensive.
That's why I started coughing there when I read that.
I don't know anybody who pays to get handcuffed for sleep. It's not sleep that they're paying for.
Oh, trust me, you'll fall asleep eventually.
I don't think I could sleep in a bike helmet.
Right?
I was gonna say, I don't think I could either. Like, handcuffs, I feel like I would be a lot easier to ignore for me.
Do you have
Yeah,
to?
I agree.
Are you handcuffed front or back?
That's
Front or back?
Yeah, that's a very, very important question for it. I would.
I was gonna say, am I handcuffed together, or am I handcuffed to something?
I think it's handcuffed
the
together.
bigger
You're
question.
wearing handcuffs. So if you're wearing handcuffs,
Okay, if it's together, then yeah, it'd definitely be easier for me. Because even if they are handcuffed behind my back, I can do the thing where I just slide it under my feet to get it back in front, and
That's
then I
when
can just easily curl up in a ball on my side.
that's when they give you the cattle prod.
Like, no
You're breaking
problem.
the rules there.
I mean, if they come at me with a cattle prod, I know I can win that fight, and
Not
then
if
I
you're-
can just
not
pick
if you're
the
handcuffed.
handcuff locks and
Not if
run.
you're handcuffed. I don't think so.
I'm
I don't
going
think
handcuffs here.
you underestimate me, Udo.
Also had a bicycle helmet on, for protection.
Right?
Oh, then I definitely win the fight. Like, you're arming me at that point in time.
How about you?
Yeah, I'm going handcuffs. Easy because they behind my back and I'll just sleep on my stomach.
Right? How about you, Alice?
Oh, yeah, handcuffs. Definitely handcuffs. I could not sleep in a bike helmet. No way.
I think because of my body frame, like I have large pectoral muscles and fat on top of them, right? Like, I think I'm gonna go bike helmet. Like, I think that I would rather sleep in a bike helmet because it's hard to have my, like, I'm definitely one of those dudes that the cops, if they're being nice, use 2 pair of cuff on you. Like, all right. So I've got a story coming out of Korea here. So, South Korean parents are now hiring muscular, tattooed men to pose as fake uncles to protect their children from bullies at school.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
All
down.
right. It's a shame that bullying has gotten to that point, but
Right? According to local media reports, multiple companies are now offering different packages, ranging from $450 a day to $1,790 a day, to desperate parents to ensure that their children are safe from aggressive classmates. What they call it the straightforward uncle package. A man in his 30s or 40s reportedly walks the student to and from school and sternly warns bullies off. There is also called an evidence package, which is an upgrade where the uncle films the bullies in action and presents findings to the school. And under the deal, he also threatens to make the video public if there's no remedial action. Meanwhile, there is a chaperone package, which deploys more high-profile tactics of visiting the bullies' parents at their workplace and publicly shaming them.
this is all like, I'm glad that this exists, you know, because bullying is terrible.
Right.
I cannot think of a more bullyable offense than your parents hired a guy to follow you around and protect you. And
No,
pretend
I
to be
follow.
your
Yes.
uncle.
I totally follow.
Like, for half the price, I'll just teach your kid how to defend himself, and then he can just take out the bullies himself.
Yeah, it really seems like Drillbit Taylor just made it over to Korea, and they all watched it, and are now like, yeah, we're going to hire somebody.
No, that's a good business model.
Right?
That Owen Wilson, he's on to something.
I kind of raised on that. If you give a man a fish, or you teach a man to fish, you know?
Right. Give a man a fire, keep him warm for a day, set him on fire, keep him warm for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Let me see. There was some more info on here. To be fair, to the situation, it is really bad over there. Suicide is the most common cause of death among young Koreans between ages 15 and 24. And so this is definitely something that is meant to just take one less stress off of your child, right? I do feel like this could totally be a career path for me, though. Like, if I ever need to leave the U.S.
Udo, professional uncle.
Right? I'll just, show up and be all, like, just big around other people. Like, it seems like a really good...
I'll say, I'm not big enough to intimidate anyone. Like, I'm way too scrawny to actually look intimidating. I'm not intimidating until after I've already thrown someone down.
Right. All right. Who here in the stream likes chicken nuggets?
I've eaten a nugget or two.
Right?
I partake.
Right? So be careful. Do not buy currently. I mean, maybe those would be fine later. But do not buy Purdue Foods Simply Smart gluten-free organic breaded chicken nuggets because people are finding wood in them.
A lot of the
Well,
words
okay,
you
that's
said
all that's
would
left.
keep from buying it already.
After the things you took out, all that's left is the wood.
Right?
Yeah.
The USDA's Food and Safety Inspection Service has published a recall notice which says that the nuggets may be contaminated with extraneous materials, specifically wood. The notice affects 22-ounce plastic bag frozen packages labeled Purdue Simply Smart Organic Breaded Chicken Breast Nuggets gluten-free with a best buy date of 10/25/19 and UPC bar of a bunch of numbers. Customers first reported the wood to Purdue, which then notified the USDA earlier this week. No adverse reactions have been reported due to the wood parts, but consumers are urged not to eat the chicken nuggets and instead throw them away or return them to the stores where they were purchased. If you have questions, you can contact Purdue Consumer Care. Squidpunk says, good source of fiber.
I've got a question. How the fuck is wood getting into your chicken grinder?
Somebody just, somebody just dropped the whole coop in there.
Like, did someone just drop the scarecrows in or something? Like, what the fuck?
The chickens were smuggling wood in.
Right.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
No, that's what they're feeding the chickens.
The chicken prison shanks.
In order to keep them gluten-free.
Every once in a while, they just peck a part of the wall off and use it as a prison shank in case the other chickens down the block get uppity. Yeah. All right, and our last
to keep chickens. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
To keep the chickens gluten-free, do you also have to make sure that the chickens are gluten-free? Are they not allowed to eat anything with gluten?
Yep.
Or is there some sort of process that they go through that make
the gluten out?
They're
fair enough.
Deglutenized. No, I'm pretty sure that they actually give the chickens a gluten-free diet, which must be fucking miserable for creatures that are naturally eating gluten items.
I would say chickens, they probably feed them mostly corn-related stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, our last story
I don't know how healthy that is for a chicken.
Is a story of instant karma. A vandal got a rude awakening when he tried to run over a 9-foot-tall snowman. Kentucky homeowner Cody Lutz said it was instant karma. My dog is now hooked to my headphones, and we may have a bad problem here in a second. Okay, okay, buddy, you gonna get out of there? You go. Yeah, it's okay. He is an absolute tank, and when he gets hooked into my headphones, my computer is at terrible risk. Sorry about that, guys. All right. Kentucky homeowner Cody Lutz called it instant karma. What goes around comes around in a good way and bad way. So I guess everyone learns a valuable lesson from Frosty here, Lutz said. The towering triple stack of snowballs in northern Kentucky had a lot of character. This is specifically the one you're looking at right here. Sorry, my dog has decided to sit under my desk and lick my legs because I'm wearing shorts. And it's adorable.
Because you got them tasty legs.
Exactly. Much like the people who built it, the snowman was packed with purpose. He says that he loves the snow so much that he took snowman building to the extreme and used a massive tree stump as a base for the top hat creation. He went to work Monday and came home to Monday night, which is, and he said it was pretty funny. He saw the soon-to-be Lutz family's creation, the man saw the soon-to-be Lutz family's creation and tried to fracture Frosty with the front end of his truck. He quickly realized his mistake and plowed away the snow and showed Frosty's roots. There may be a couple of lessons in here, and he thinks that Frosty got the last laugh for sure. But yeah, so this guy totally just plowed his truck into this snowman because he's all like, haha, I'm gonna fuck up their snowman, and instead ruined his truck. Yeah, so this is a warning for everybody. Don't be an asshole.
Don't be a dick.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so based on the time that we've got left for tonight, we're going to go straight to Be the Change. I do have Florida Man stuff today, but we don't have enough time for it, including this one, which you guys can look forward to next week. If you notice, this entire thing is blurred out because Twitch is making me blur stuff like that. So,
I got some guesses.
Right. So, for those of you who haven't seen this show before, tonight we're going to be talking about Be the Change. This is about the website change.org, where you can go and find people attempting to make real change in the world through petitions that sometimes do, in fact, make some change. But what we're talking about tonight are not those petitions. These petitions are things you find on the recent page. If you browse through all 47 pages of them, you will find some real gems. The first one, as always, is our petition to attempt to get a petition to 100. So if anybody would like to sign that and help us get to 100, we're at 13 now. We'll find out what happens when you get to 100, because it says right there at the top, 13 have signed, let's get to 100. We just want to find out what the hell that does. So, the first one I have to show everybody tonight, though, that is a petition to get noses into winky faces. How do you guys feel about the emoji injustices?
Noses do not belong in emoji.
Yeah,
Agreed.
I agree.
I take a firm stand that noses do not belong in emojis.
Absolutely.
Like, it eliminates the shorthand purpose of using emojis and the entire, like, purpose around texting. Like, it just kills the entire spirit of it.
Right.
Like, the point of an emoji is a very shorthand way to display an emotion. Why
Well,
make it longer?
Haley Williams thinks that, ladies and gentlemen, there is an epidemic. Humans around the world think that it's okay to leave the nose out of winky faces. Please sign this petition to get the ball rolling for noses and to be put back into emoticons. Humans have noses. Emojis have feelings too. Squidpunk says this is the hill I die on. Are you pro nose or anti nose, Squid? And the only signature down here is Gabrielle Nicastro, who said Haley asked me to. All right. Our next petition here is something that's really, 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 if you're internet aware, you'll know what these are. And this is for T-Series to get sent to the ranch. T-Series is getting very close to overcoming PewDiePie in sub count, and Louis Lang believes that the only way to stop this is to get T-Series sent to the ranch by Dr. Phil. Sorry. I'm really involved in watching the whole T-Series, like, drama thing, so this is really funny to me. But oh, Squidpunk is anti-nose and emoji. So looks like that last one, we just can't help anybody with those signatures. I don't want to sign it either. I just figured people would want to see that it existed.
Can we start a counter petition to ban noses from emojis?
That's not a bad idea. We might actually we will probably steamroll that other group. All right, and the last one I've got for you guys today is one to help your lexicon in the future. And that is to change the word lemonade to lemon milk. Anthony Tersigny wants to say that lemonade is outlandish and we need to change it to lemon milk. 24
I'll sign that one.
24 people have signed. Let me see. Nobody has listed their reason for signing, but
So
it would change
I
that
have
old
thoughts on
childhood
it.
song to "Milk, Milk, Lemon, Milk."
if,
Makes that song better.
if they made lemon juice lemon milk, I would think it'd be more okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because lemonade would be closer to like eggnog or chocolate milk or something like that. Because it's not just the liquid from lemons.
Well, if you get it gluten-free, it is.
They add...
Diabetic lemonade is just a bad time.
Fuck you.
What do you mean lemons don't have nipples, Squidpunk? Look at the lemon. They got a whole nipple on the side,
Lemon's
man.
got like 50% nipple.
Right, exactly. Lemons are just fruit breast.
Yeah, like...
MLC Phoenix, how's it going?
Welcome in where we're talking about lemon
limit.
nipples.
They're like 50% nipple, right?
Right.
No, yeah, absolutely. Every lemon's got 2 nipples on it.
Yeah.
Right. All right.
And that's where the lemon milk comes out.
Exactly. That is all the news that I brought for you guys today. So, Ellis, Jacob, Witless, thank you guys very much for being on episode number 100. Was it as good
Thank you
as
so
you
much
thought
for
it would
having
be?
us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Wonderful.
Right. I'm sorry that you had to learn about some of the things. There are definitely stories that I'm all like, I'm sorry for everybody, but I got to do it, you know?
It's pretty well worth it for lemon milk.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Well, today we learned not to inject ourselves with man milk.
All right, I'm going.
Oh, yeah. Man milk.
I feel like I learned
We
that
started
a long time
and
ago.
ended on milk.
Right.
Yeah.
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 The
Interesting.
The
All right.
dystopian future is nothing but robot fails and milk. Just awful.
America.
Thank you very much for the congratulations,
End of
MLC
the
Phoenix.
world as you know it.
So for those of you who joined after the intro, I just wanted to touch up on the channel changes that are coming again. The fun news show like tonight will be on Tuesdays only. We won't be doing Tuesdays and Thursdays news shows. It'll be Tuesdays only for the comedy news show. Wednesdays will be the interviews that I've been doing. Thursdays will be our new history show, our new weird history show that airs this first Thursday, where we'll be covering John Paul Jones, the American pirate, and the Australian Emu Wars. So that'll be fun to come check out because both of those topics are absolutely hilarious. So, all right. I think that's all I've got, guys. MLC says, "Oh frick, I'm down for that. Maybe I'm down to have you come." All right, I'm gonna roll the exit, and we'll be right back.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.